There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers, a dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends, a place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view, but when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. It's Monday. You're tuned into the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness. I'm your host, Dave Schrader. Across the board for me at the Supernatural News Desk, the one, the only, Tim Dennis. Hello, Tim.
Hello.
You ready to roll today, sir?
I am ready.
I know we've got a lot of stories, plus we're going to get to some Parashare in a bit. Where shall we begin tonight's journey in the world of supernatural news?
Well, Dave.
Yes?
I think we have to start probably with the most important story of last week, which, of course, is the passing of Stephen Hawking. We probably have to talk about that first.
Yes, let's go ahead and do that. And this is a weird story to launch it off with, but
it is.
And mysterious.
It is. And we're going to balance this a little bit. I know people are going to say, "Oh, Tim, how could you start with your pitiful little argument between you and Dave about what's going to get us first, the zombie apocalypse or AI?" But here's the deal, Dave. Right. As Stephen Hawking is kicking the mortal coil,
right,
he issues a warning to all of humanity. All I got to say, my friend, is I win.
Well,
I win.
Go ahead. What's the
possibly the smartest man on the planet, as he is leaving us, says, "Guess what, kids? We're screwed. You know what we're screwed by? You know what we're screwed by, Dave?
What, Tim?
Robots.
What?
AI.
Again?
Robots.
What?
They're coming to get us."
Jeez.
Stephen Hawking even said so.
All right.
Famed physicist Stephen Hawking died, of course, Tuesday at the age of 76. Before he departed this world, he left us with warnings that Earth is headed for a catastrophic ending in the near future. This doom will not come from a fiery asteroid, kids, not even global warming, but from rising inequality fueled by increasingly smart robots, this according to Hawking. Intelligent future AI, and this is the quote, will probably develop a drive to survive and acquire more resources as a step toward accomplishing whatever goal it has, because surviving and having more resources will increase its chances of accomplishing that other goal, he said in a Reddit Ask Me Anything forum in 2015. This can cause problems.
Wait, in 2015, I thought they said that he made this, he was saying this just weeks before he passed away.
It gets better, Dave.
Okay.
This can cause problems for humans whose resources can get away. His solution? We should all leave the planet and find new lives in outer space.
Right. Well, we knew about that.
Yeah.
Right.
His dire prediction came as robots and artificial intelligence increasingly take over human jobs, with some 800 million people around the world, including a third of the workforce in the U.S., predicted to be out of jobs by 2030 because of automation. That according to an 8-month study from the McKinsey Global Institute. Though Hawking often warned about the upcoming robot takeover, he noted technology could also produce new solutions. He said if machines produce everything we need, the outcome will depend on how things are distributed. He wrote, "Everyone can enjoy a life of luxurious leisure if the machine-produced wealth is shared, or most people can end up miserably poor if the machine owners successfully lobby against wealth redistribution." This philosophy has also been described as automated luxury communism, the idea that in a future in which labor is automated, machines will do the work that profits people, and those profits can be distributed amongst them equally. In such a post-work society, things like a 10 to 12-hour work week, well, that sounds nice, a guaranteed social wage, guaranteed housing, universal education, and health care would be the norm. Aaron Bastani, a author of Fully Automated Luxury Communism, set for release in September of 2018, told that to The Guardian. There may be some work that will still need to be done by humans, like quality control, but it would be minimal, he said. He noted Uber as an example. Now the company employs hundreds of thousands of drivers around the world, but it's anticipated to replace them with self-driving cars by 2030 under the tenets of, so no more Uber drivers either. You're done. Under the tenets of luxury communism, such services would be provided by the state rather than a private company, with profits being used to increase the standards of living for all. Can AI improve the taste of kale? How AI and machine learning is changing the farming landscape. According to this, some argue that automation will not evolve to meet the needs of humans, or that the model of luxury communism isn't environmentally sustainable. Hawking himself said the future didn't seem bright for such a model. He said, so far, the trend seems to be toward the second option, with technology driving ever-increasing inequality. Others say some form of shared wealth from automation is inevitable and already coming to fruition. In 2016, Swiss voters rejected an initiative to create a guaranteed minimal income on which to live, a concept that tech magnates like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg have both promoted. A world of increasing abundance, even luxury is not only possible, but likely, Eric Brynjolfsson, author of Second Machine Age, a book on the rise of robots, said, many of the things we consider necessities today, phone service, automobiles, Saturdays off, were luxuries in the past.
Well, that doesn't sound too dangerous. He's just saying to be careful, but he thinks that the AI is going to be what wipes us off the face of the planet.
He said, launch us into space. We're done.
We're done.
We're done as a
Well, if
society.
we've got, okay, but here's the deal. Aren't there certain aspects of AI that would run the rocket launch to get us off the planet? How do we know that that wouldn't be what wipes it out? And if he's online 2 weeks ago warning people of the fact that AI is going to kill us, wasn't most of his systems run mechanically to keep him alive?
Oh, Dave, are you throwing the conspiracy theory out there?
I'm just saying, it's a tragedy that we lost the guy, but I'm just saying it's kind of interesting if he's out there propagating the story that AI is going to, wipe us all out, and then a couple weeks later he's gone.
Keep in mind, he was supposed to die like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. So, All right. Where else are we going to go?
Well, here's the other side of the argument. We'll present your other side of the argument. You say zombies.
Yes.
Okay.
Zombie apocalypse. Or apes speaking and taking over the world. Definitely one of those two.
Oh, now you change it.
I've always said that that's a possibility.
No. This story, Dave claims, is more evidence of zombie apocalypse. I just say it's cray-cray. That's what I say. Mm-hmm. But a husband allegedly chopped up his Satan wife into pieces and reportedly ate parts of her brain with no sign of remorse.
What more do you need? Zombies. Send more brains.
Mental illness. It's just mental illness. The remorseless suspect peeled off his wife's face to reveal who was hiding behind the mask. This according to the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Delivered on my doorstep, 5 a.m. daily. The 16-year marriage of a Filipino couple ended in tragedy after the husband brutally killed and mutilated his wife, claiming she was Satan. This according to the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Residents of Holy Spirit and Quezon City, Philippines, witnessed a gruesome...
Take me down to the Quezon City where the grass is green and the girl's brain stays like...
Crispy?
Crispy, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Only if you deep fry it. Witnessed a gruesome act on Sunday after they saw 43-year-old Orlando Estrella throwing his wife's mangled body parts outside of their house in broad daylight. Ew. Apparently, a kid was walking in front of the couple's house when suddenly the suspect threw his wife's body parts, including a severed head, out. The boy immediately called other neighbors and sought help from authorities. The victim, identified as Heidi Estrella, was reportedly relaxing at home, but not for long, when her husband suddenly attacked her. Apparently, the victim was lying on her stomach and asked the suspect for a body massage. Ooh, that was the worst massage ever.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. However,
might be an overreaction to not wanting to give your spouse a massage.
Yeah, but probably no thank you would be the appropriate response. However, he allegedly had hallucinations and saw a goat instead of his wife, prompting him to step on her neck and strangle her. The suspect added that he also heard his wife making animal noises similar to a goat during his attack. Cray cray. After strangling her, the ruthless husband started peeling off his wife's face using a knife. Ow. To reveal who was hiding under the mask. Oh, he's stable. Very stable. He also gouged out her eyes and smashed her head using a hammer. Ladies, he's now single. Just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody will call. I know they will.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
That's the scary part.
Somebody will find him incredibly sexy.
Uh-huh.
Sure. Yeah. As if that wasn't enough, the suspect reportedly ate parts of his wife's brain before proceeding to butcher the rest of her body.
Zombies.
So he's into exotic foods.
Uh-huh.
He's the next Andrew Zimmern. Apparently, the brutal husband opened up his wife's stomach to check if she was pregnant. Probably a test would have worked better.
Yeah.
Claiming that she could have been carrying in her womb the spawn of Satan.
No, I hadn't had sex with her.
Yeah. Dave left her alone.
Yep.
One of only 2 women on the planet. No, I'm kidding. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
Then he chopped off
Call
her.
me Mrs. Dennis.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
What?
Did you just turn that into a mom joke?
I think I did, my friend.
Then he chopped off her head and mutilated her breasts, arms, and legs.
Oh, God, he's a keeper. A keeper away from me. Boom.
Yeah.
Hi-oh.
Then get this, Dave. As if he hadn't done enough already, Mr. Overachiever shoved one of the legs inside of her body, and then the
he's
other.
Pulling a Han Solo on Hoth.
He went wampa on her.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah. And then the other one deep into her sex organ. Congratulations, buddy.
Wow.
You've officially gone off the deep end.
Yeah, that's sick.
During an interview at QCD headquarters in Camp Caringal, the suspect admitted that he did not regret killing his wife, adding that he even did it to save everyone from her because she's Satan.
Huh.
The quote is, "She was a nuisance to me because she was Satan. She told me herself that she was Satan." Of course.
Really?
Of course she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, the suspect made...
Maybe she just said, I like to wear satin, and he didn't hear her.
I think so. It was an I instead of an A. Yeah, it's a common misconception.
Hail satin.
Yeah. It's very soft, lovable. Interestingly, the suspect made no mention of Satan during his initial interrogation. Instead, he told authorities that he killed his wife out of hatred that built up during their years of marriage. Chief Superintendent Guillermo Elazar, director of the Quezon City Police District, also noted that he did not show any signs of remorse or regret. He reiterated that the suspect is a danger to society and should not be out in public. No. The suspect admitted that he used crystal meth in 2002, but an initial drug test conducted recently came out negative. He is set to undergo psychological and psychiatric examination. My guess, he's going to fail both.
I will already tell you the end result, Tim.
Yeah.
Using the powers of psychic ability that I have. Cuckoo.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
All right, what have we got next?
Well, we move on with the demon stuff. Yep. A shocked person or shocked guy reveals that it says bloke here, but I don't say the word bloke.
You just did twice.
I did, yeah.
Might as well just read it the right way then.
Shocked bloke revealing woman standing at the foot of the horrified bloke, that's number 3, has begged for help after apparently being terrorized by the ghost of a woman. Now, see, that's a demon woman right there. I'm looking at the picture. Kind of looks like Lucy Lawless. Just saying. The man, 25, discussed his disturbing experience in an online paranormal forum because that's where you want to take it. He claims the bizarre episodes child and have gotten worse over time. The guy is apparently followed around by an evil spirit and tormented wherever he goes. It's probably. He said, I feel like something is with me, something malevolent. 11 months ago, I woke up in my apartment and I saw plain as day a woman standing at the foot of my bed. I used to pray for that at night, Dave, when I was younger. Her face was blank, no features. I felt cold and terrified, but not really. I don't know how to explain it. I screamed like a child screams at the doctor. Like Michael Jackson, evidently. Yeah. And ran for the bedroom light, never saw her again. Well, that was probably your first mistake.
Yeah, well, when you run out of the room screaming like a little girl, it's hard to keep a woman around.
You probably want to pat the covers and say, hey, sweetie, right here.
No.
Huh? You want to crawl in?
What part of woman are you not getting?
Hey, They all eventually go a little
demon woman.
He moved to another apartment after the traumatic incident. Evidently, he didn't stop to pack. But the hauntings persisted. The man added, "Today I looked everywhere for my phone and apartment keys." They're probably back at the old apartment. Cleaned the whole... Well, he stopped to clean, evidently.
Yeah.
Walked out to the car with my door inside. Plus, I'm on the 3rd floor, so he must have jumped. When I came back in, my phone and keys were on my counter.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know. Shocking, huh? Then just about an hour ago, I heard my shower curtain open. Oh, she stopped to take a shower. Yeah. Daily Star Online previously revealed the most disturbing ghost sightings people have recorded on Google Maps. Google Maps. Dave, here's the thing. She shows up at his bed.
Did that last line have anything to do with the story?
No, it didn't. No. They just
stumbled over.
They threw it in randomly. So, so she shows up at his bed. He runs out screaming like a little kid. Then she's in the shower for him.
Wow.
And he turns her down.
Crazy.
I have questions about this guy's manhood.
Hey, let me make a quick mention since you did a true crime story there a little bit ago about the old brain-eating zombie.
Yeah.
Just remember, tomorrow is True Crime Tuesday. True Crime Tuesday. Sign up for it now if you haven't already. Go check out darknessradio.com. Click on the True Crime Tuesday banner and subscribe. $5 a month gives you the best in true crime talk radio. You'll never miss another minute of the best in true crime talk radio. Not only do we give you some of the most unusual and bizarre cases, but we also deliver the goods when it comes to dumb crimes, stupid criminals, I knew a murderer, and my own dumb crimes. Those are just some of the features of the show. And when you sign up for that $5 a month, you can cancel anytime. So if you've tried it for a month or two and it's just not your cup of tea, well, you're an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. But if it's not your cup of tea, you can cancel. It's not a long-term contract. You can jump out after a month or two or whatever you'd like. But when you get it, not only do you get the brand new episodes that people can listen anytime. They don't just have to tune in on Tuesdays. Tuesdays when the new episode comes out, but they don't have to listen just on Tuesdays.
Okay.
But it also gives them access to the last year and a half worth of archives on the show.
Oh.
Because I'm a giver.
You are a giver.
It's true. Look at the chancre on your lip. That's from me.
The what?
What? Anyway, go check it out, darknessradio.com. Click on the True Crime Tuesday banner and sign up now. Tomorrow, when the news becomes the news, it is the hunt for Jody Husentrut. We're coming up on 23 years since her abduction. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Minnesota girl on her way to, Minnesota woman, I should say, on her way to the success and all the dreams she ever wanted vanishes 23 years ago, Tim, without a trace. Wow. We'll talk about that case with Caroline Lowe, investigative reporter, and it's an amazing story. We'll go over a lot of the ins and outs and encourage you, if you know any information, to email dave@darknessradio.com. I will keep your identity confidential. If you know what happened to Jody Husentrut and you can tip us off, give us any information, email me, dave@darknessradio.com. But go sign up right now at darknessradio.com. Click on that True Crime Tape banner and never miss another minute of the best in True Crime Talk Radio. Besides, when you do that and you support us, it also helps support this show. Speaking of which, Tim, people are confused. Okay. We said we'd go to Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
Last week, we offered up 2 throwback episodes.
We did, yeah.
The deal is, folks, we have some advertisers that want to advertise 5 times a week. When we get those, we'll throw in a couple of extra episodes like we will this week. So just most of the part is getting Monday, Wednesday, Friday are brand new episodes. If we pop stuff in on Tuesday and Thursday, it's just because we're satisfying contractual obligations with our great advertisers. We want to give them an extra day or two of advertising. So that's how we're going to roll it out. So that's answering your questions, hopefully. Let's get back into it, sir. Where are we going next?
Well, this one is shocking footage showing a taxi crashing into a tree after a ghostly attack, Dave.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. A taxi veers from the road into a tree after a mysterious shadowy figure appears to strike the vehicle in footage caught on a dash cam. In the video uploaded to YouTube, the red vehicle is seen being filmed by a dash cam of a car traveling behind it. However, suddenly after the taxi turns a corner, a large white mist-like figure appears from nowhere before quickly appearing to strike the vehicle. The cab then swerves from the road, crashing into a tree. The footage was recorded in Hong Kong before being shared online. It was uploaded to YouTube channel The Hidden Underbelly 2.0. Look it up yourself. I'm just saying. Viewers have been left amazed by the alleged paranormal incident. This according to the Daily Star. One posted on YouTube, I wonder what the driver would have to say. Probably, crap, you just ruined my cab. That's what I'm guessing. Another said, I would love to know what happened to the occupant of the car, too. Did they die, survive, have any recollection of what happened? Or in French, recollection.
You have a recollection?
Yeah, because, exactly. It was the French part of Hong Kong, Dave. A third said it appeared a paranormal event, saying, looks like a demonic attack. Very weird.
Yeah. That is weird.
Yeah. The video comes after footage emerged that apparently showed a ghost standing in the middle of a motorway in Singapore. There have been a series of alleged ghostly activity videos to hit the internet this month. Last week, a woman uploaded 2 videos taken by CCTV in her haunted home. It followed a series of ghostly video uploads, including a phone being flung off its receiver in Britain's most haunted pub, and a series of ghostly images found on Google Maps, as opposed to...
Not a phone being flung from a receiver! Oh my God, the humanity!
Yeah, a phone. From the receiver.
Sounds a lot more chilling the first time you said it, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Also, there's no scientific proof of ghosts, according to this article.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah. But as one of the most popular paranormal beliefs, tens of thousands of people across the globe are convinced that some of us live on after death, Dave, and energies from these spirits can be captured on camera.
All right.
So there you go. That's what
I'm a believer.
That's what the kids are saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Where are we off to next?
Well.
Oh yeah, I heard about this one.
Police are still confused when it comes to ghost hunting. Dave.
Yeah, they are.
They are very confused. Evidently, if you're a ghost hunter and you have equipment, you have a bomb.
Tick, 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 boom.
This, according to the police.
Okay.
Police have mistook a ghost hunter's device for a bomb, and then they proceeded to destroy it with a water cannon. Jen Parker, poor Jen, was investigating a possible ghost at the Mackenzie House in Windsor, overseas there, overbite area. But when she left her EMF sensor behind, the bomb squad was called in. Oh, poor Jen.
Wah, wah.
She wasn't expecting to make national news for investigating a ghost. In fact, if she would have made local headlines, I think she would have been happy. But that's what happens when the bomb squad is called in. Poor Jen. Parker, along with her team, were hunting for a ghost at a local historical site in Windsor, Ontario, Mackenzie Hall. When they left the site, they forgot that an EMF sensor. They call it an electronic magnetic field sensor.
Not so much. But electromagnetic force sensor. Yeah.
Well, it says here an electronic magnetic
they're
field
wrong.
Sensor.
Trust me, I know things.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But the police went, bomb! And then they jumped on it. The Windsor Bomb Squad, or it's Canada, so they went, boom! Let's go to Timmy Hortons and get some coffee. You know. The Windsor Bomb Squad were called in to investigate and then destroy this suspicious device. But the way they did it was kind of comical. It was very Keystone Cops. Parker is the assistant founder of the Listowel Paranormal Society. She spoke with As It Happens host Carol Off about the mix-up and what the device is actually meant for. Here's how the conversation kind of went. So Carol says, Jen, what exactly was this device that was mistaken for being a bomb? And Jen says, it's called an EMF sensor. So electromagnetic field sensor. That's what Jen told Carol Off. Yeah. It's a little black box with a blue LED light and a red wire, and it fits in the palm of your hand. So it's very small.
Looks like a bomb to me, eh?
And they all went, aw. And they went, aw. And in our field, it detects energy, she said. So that energy could be of an entity, and they, the bomb squad, took it to the extreme thinking that it was a, bomb,
See.
Yeah. We just thought we'd go into our investigation, come out, and we're good. But here we are all over the news, Jen Parker said. Okay, but what kind of entities does it sense? Carol wanted to know, and Jen says, ghosts.
Ghosts, eh?
So spirits of dead people, Take off, you hoser. Then Carol says, how did they destroy your device? She goes, with a huge water cannon. I'm not sure what it is, but the Major Crimes Unit, they sent a robot in, and then they destroy whatever the suspicious package is. So they got the bomb, then they got Tom.
Okay.
Yeah. Right in the nards. What were you investigating? Carol went on to say, and she said, our team went out to do an investigation because Mackenzie Hall is rumored to be haunted as it was an old courthouse. I can't get out of the accent. As it was an old courthouse and executions had taken place there in the 1800s all the way up until 1943, I believe it was. We just thought we'd go in and do our investigation, come out, we're good. But here we're all over the news. Now, did you personally have any sense of anything there, Carol said? Or a sense of something there, rather.
Yeah. I don't really care about the rest of this. I just thought it was cool that they thought it was a bomb and tried to blow up an EMF detector.
All right. Well, screw it. We'll scrap it.
That was kind of the best part of the story, really, right? Who cares what this woman thinks about it being a ghost or not?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Screw you, Jen.
Dismissive.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a happy story.
Yeah. Dave doesn't care about you, Jen Parker.
No, that's not true, Jen.
Yeah. Screw you, Jen.
Call me, Jen.
And you too, Carol.
Yeah, no, don't.
Your stupid interview.
No.
Go to Timmy Hortons and get a donut and some coffee.
All right. What's your next story for us?
Well, this woman, who is perfectly stable, ripped out her own eyes and thought it was a sacrifice to God, Dave.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Evidently, she's single too, guys. A young woman has described how she gouged out her own eyes while she was high on crystal meth. If she would have swallowed them, she would have been a zombie. 20-year-old Kaylee Mudhart, I believe. She's single. Was heard screaming outside South Main Chapel in Mercy Center in South Carolina on February 6th. When parishioners ran out, they found her holding her eyeballs in her hands.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and desperately tried to restrain her.
You know what? Maybe you could talk yourself into popping one out.
Yeah.
Once you've dug the fork in and released it.
Yeah.
How do you talk yourself into, I got to get the other one out now?
Well, evidently this is how.
Oh, okay.
She has now told how, in a drug-addled haze, ready for this, Dave? She thought she had heard God calling on her to make the gruesome sacrifice. Here goes, Dave. Here's the describer.
Oh, God.
If you're a little sensitive, you might want to tune out for the next 30 seconds or so. She goes, so I pushed my thumb, pointer, and middle finger into each eye. I gripped each eyeball, twisted and pulled until each eye popped out of the socket.
Oh, my God.
It felt like a massive struggle.
Go back to the other story about the woman in the EMF detector.
Nope, too late.
Oh, do it. Oh.
The hardest thing I ever had to do.
Oh.
It was at this point that I worried worshipers emerged from the church after hearing her screaming, I want to see the light, she told Cosmopolitan.
Well, you shouldn't rip your eyes out then. You can't see the light if you pull them out.
Oh, you can see it in the back of your brain.
I saw the light.
Lord, I saw the light.
light.
She said the pastor later told her that by the time they reached her, she was holding both her eyes in her hands.
Oh, God.
She said, I had squished them, although they were somehow still attached to my head.
No. Did she really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That was her quote. Yeah.
Oh.
It took a team of police to calm her down before she was airlifted to Greenville Memorial Hospital's trauma unit, where doctors cleaned what was left of her orbital sockets to prevent infection. Doctors believe the drug she ingested was laced with another chemical.
Yeah, you think?
No shit, Sherlock.
Wow.
Causing her to have hallucinations in which she heard voices telling her to sacrifice her eyes so she could make it into heaven. Here's a clue, kids. If you're high on the meth and you hear sacrifice your eyes, it's probably not God. No.
Yeah.
Mom Katie Tompkins.
Jesus, crank calling you.
Yeah. Mom Katie Tompkins.
Yeah, this is God. If you want to get into heaven, pop out your eyes.
God, is that you? Should I do it?
Jesus is such a prankster.
Hey, I got a rusty spoon here.
He's a prankster.
It turns out, Dave, that Mom Katie Tompkins, the mother of the self-inflicted eye popper, told people of her horror at hearing doctors tell her that Mudhart was completely blind. Her doctor said she would go to rehab a day before the horrific incident. Evidently, she was one day too late. The day before it happened, which was my birthday, I was getting ready to have her committed, just to get her off the streets and away from it. But I was too late, Tompkins said. Tompkins believes her daughter unintentionally started using the drug known as methamphetamine.
Unintentionally?
Sure. Yeah,
it's not like you just eating a Twinkie
accident.
And there's a needle in there and you, damn it.
I swallowed some meth, Dave, by mistake.
Son of a biscuit.
6 months ago when she moved out of the family home. She said her daughter took marijuana from a friend, but it was laced with crystal meth.
Oh, no.
Never heard of that before.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
The crystal meth-laced marijuana?
Yeah, you got to be careful with the weed.
Huh.
Yeah.
Mudhart is now slowly getting better, but doctors believe it could be a long road to full recovery. Oh,
it's the sound of the eye hanging out of the socket.
Yeah. Is that what that sounds like?
Sure.
I don't know how I'm getting through it, but she has given me strength, Tompkins said. How does that give you strength? It's weird to say, but she uplifts me right now, and she's the one that can't see.
Because you look at her and you're like, God, I'm glad I'm not you.
God, I'm not pathetic like that. That's just the kind of person she is. I'm thankful. It's a horrible thing, but I'm still thankful because God spared her life. Tompkins has launched a fundraising campaign to get Mudhart the guide dog once she's out of the hospital.
Mudhart the guide dog. That sounds sounds like Thor's dog.
Mudhart is the victim, not the guide dog.
But the way you said it, Mudhart the guide dog.
No, the guide dog should be named something else. Like
what the hell is that? That's Mudhart the guide dog.
You know what they ought to name the guide dog?
What?
Voices. Voices the guide dog. No.
Bad idea.
Oh, okay.
Peepers. Mr. Peepers. Mr.
Peepers.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Peepers.
Gross. Very gross.
Here, doggy.
It's very gross.
We are truly grateful for all the prayers and help we've received so far, Tompkins went on to say, and ask you give whatever you can and continue to pray for us. More than $25,000 has been raised so far for the pooch and to get the 20-year-old back on her feet. Don't get her back on her feet before you get her the pooch. Just saying, she's going to end up walking into stuff.
Grief.
Yeah.
How about we just, people and drugs. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Where are we off to next, Mr. Dennis, in the world of supernatural news?
Well, Dave.
That's me.
That is you. Yeah.
You got another story?
I do.
Okay.
I'm trying to open this one.
What?
It's just not opening.
Okay.
We'll move on to this one.
Okay.
It turns out in another weird, wacky story that's been all over everywhere.
Right.
An astronaut's DNA has been changed by time in space. Now he's an exact twin with his brother, but his DNA has changed so much by being in space that they're no longer twins.
What?
Yeah. Spending a year in space.
What this is?
What's that?
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I just watched that 1978 classic.
I don't think it's that.
Today with my dad. Okay. I do. Yeah, he's up there in outer space. The pod people got a hold of him. No. They've replicated him so he looks like the person, but he's not exactly the person.
There could be a better explanation.
No, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah.
End of story.
Spending a year in space not only changes your outlook, it also transforms your genes, and not your blue genes, although they could do that too.
Money talks.
No, don't.
But it don't sing and dance, and it don't walk.
We finally got rid of him. You don't have to do that.
And if you... What?
We got rid of him.
Neil Diamond? No, he's still on planet Earth.
No, he stopped touring. We got rid of him.
That's a ruined deal.
Preliminary results from NASA's twin study reveals that 7% of astronauts Scott Kelly's genes did not return to normal after his return to Earth 2 years ago. The study looks at what happened to Kelly before, during, and after he spent 1 year aboard the International Space Station through an extensive comparison with his identical twin Mark, who remained on Earth. NASA's learned that the formerly identical twins are no longer genetically the same. Body snatchers, Dave claims. I don't know that I follow that.
I do.
But
it makes sense.
Well, the transformation of 7% of Scott's DNA suggests longer-term changes in genes related to at least 5 biological pathways and functions. None of them are body snatchers. The newest.
That's what they want you to believe, Tim. They. Look it up.
Who's they, NASA?
Exactly.
Okay.
They.
The newest preliminary results from this unique study of Scott, now retired from NASA, were released at the 2018 Investigators Workshop for NASA's Human Research Program in January. Last year, NASA published its first round of preliminary results at the 2017 Investigators Workshop. They're kind of keeping it over so you come back. Overall, the 2018 findings corroborated those from 2017 with some additions. To track physical changes caused by time and space, scientists measured Scott's metabolites necessary or maintaining life, cytokines, I believe that's how you say it, secreted by immune system cells, and proteins, workhorses within each cell, before, during, and after his mission. The researchers learned that spaceflight is associated with oxygen deprivation stress, increased inflammation, and dramatic nutrient shifts that affect gene expression. Like this, like when they're smiling or like emojis and stuff like that. In particular, Chris Mason of Weill Cornell Medicine reported on the activation of Scott's space genes, if you know what I mean, while confirming the results of his separate NASA study published last year. To better understand the genetic dynamics of each twin, Mason and his team focused on chemical changes in RNA and DNA. Whole genome sequencing revealed that each twin has more than expected unique mutations in each genome. In fact, hundreds. Although 93% of Scott's genetic expression returned to normal once he returned to Earth, a subset of several hundred space genes remained disrupted. Some of these mutations, found only after spaceflight, are thought to be caused by the stresses of space travel. As genes turned on and off, I didn't know they did that, change in the function of cells may occur. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Mason's work shows that one of the most important changes to Scott's cells was hypoxia, or a deficient amount of tissue oxygenation, probably due to a lack of oxygen and high levels of carbon dioxide. Possible damage to mitochondria, the power plants of cells, also occurred in Scott's cells, as indicated by mitochondrial stress and increased levels of mitochondria in the blood. Mason's team also saw changes in the lengths of Scott's telomeres, caps at the end of chromosomes that are considered a marker of biological aging. First, there was a significant increase in average length while he was in space, and then there was a decrease in the length within about 48 hours of his landing on Earth that stabilized to nearly pre-flight levels. Scientists believe that these telomere changes, along with DNA damage and DNA repair measured in Scott's cells, were both caused by radiation and calorie restrictions. Additionally, the team found changes in Scott's collagen, blood clotting, and bone formation, due most likely to fluid shifts in zero gravity. The researchers discovered hyperactive immune activity as well, thought to be the result of his radically different environment, which was space. The twin study helped NASA gain insight into what happens to the human body in space beyond the usual 6-month ISS missions previously studied in other astronauts.
I have a thought, though.
What's that?
What if it wasn't his DNA that changed?
What if it was ours?
Dun, 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 dun. What if it's his twin? What if his twin here on Earth was replaced by a replicant, Tim? Maybe his twin is the one with the 7% change. Huh?
Well, Dave,
we call that back engineering, son.
Well, here's the deal, Dave.
No,
they have,
right.
They have before and after.
Exactly. What if somebody switched him in the lab, Tim?
Boy, I have a story for you.
What?
I can read it after this one.
Okay.
10 groups of researchers, including Mason's team, are looking at a wide variety of information about the Kelly twins' health, including how gut bacteria, bones, and the immune system might be affected by living off planet. Huh? That's right. It changes your farts. Living in space.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Kelly's 1-year mission is scientific stepping stone to a planned 3-year mission to Mars, which really changes your farts. I don't know if you know that or not. Research into how the human body adjusts to weightlessness, isolation, radiation, and other stress during long-duration space flight is needed before astronauts are sent on journeys that would triple the time humans have spent in space so far. Now that Dave has been coached up to be really, really paranoid. Where is that story? The story that I wanted to get to you, Dave. No, that's not it. The story that I wanted to read to you this week is right here.
Okay.
Congratulations, you conspiracy theorists.
Yes.
You're screwed.
What?
There's no more YouTube videos for you.
Good.
You can't post YouTube videos.
That's because of all the goofballs with the Sandy Hook and the Aurora and the shooting in Florida.
And now the Las Vegas thing and all the people saying crisis actors.
Ooh, people are going to be so mad at me for saying that. But you know what? Somebody's got to keep policing on that. They've got to keep it down.
It turns out that YouTube is cracking down on conspiracy videos.
That damn Dave and Tim, they's part of the whole conspiracy trying to keep us shut it up. They'll tell us about the ghosties and the UFOs, but they won't tell us about the crisis actors and the fake shooters and such.
But there's a thin line here between conspiracy and truth, and where YouTube is going to cut it off. It's scant on the details. Conspiracy videos are abound on YouTube, whether it's about the Earth being flat or school shootings being staged. YouTube, its parent, Google, Facebook, and Twitter are all facing challenges right now with the spread of misinformation, propaganda, and fake news. But YouTube CEO, I believe it's Susan Wojcicki, maybe, said at a conference Tuesday that the company will include links to the online encyclopedia Wikipedia to try to debunk videos espousing conspiracy theories. But Wikipedia itself has had its share of credibility issues as a service let anyone. Yes, Dave, Wikipedia is not all true.
What?
Lets anyone.
Wikipedia says I'm one of the most popular radio hosts in the world.
Oh, boy.
I just typed it in there. It can't be wrong.
Yeah, well, they let anyone edit their content over there.
What?
Yeah, they do. Whether that person is a pedigreed expert or an online troll, it doesn't matter. They can change the content over there. The Wikipedia has tried to address that in part by restricting edits on high-profile or controversial pages. It isn't immune from hoaxes and its own conspiracy theories. In a statement on Wednesday, YouTube said the links will include other third-party sources besides Wikipedia, though YouTube isn't identifying any. The organization that runs Wikipedia said Wednesday that it had no formal partnership with YouTube, but welcomed the use of Wikipedia resources. YouTube said the move is part of a broader initiative to crack down on misinformation, though it did not give details on what else is in the works. While conspiracy videos are nothing new on YouTube, the topic received renewed attention in recent weeks as videos falsely claim that students speaking out about the February 14th Florida school shooting, which killed 17 people, were crisis actors who were not really there when it happened. One such conspiracy video was the top trending video on YouTube until the company removed it, although many similar videos remained up, illustrating the difficulty in instituting any type of crackdown. Conspiracy videos, to be sure, aren't against YouTube's policies, but in the crisis actor case, the company said it removed the video because it violated its rules against harassment. As such, YouTube is unlikely to ban misinformation entirely. Instead, it may adopt Facebook's tactic of de-emphasizing such content and making it less likely to be seen. As it stands, critics say YouTube is doing the opposite. What keeps people glued to YouTube?
GlueTube. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, that's where they glue your eyes right to the screen.
What?
Its algorithm seems to have concluded that people are drawn to content that is more extreme than what they started with, or to incendiary content in general. Zeynep Tufekci, a University of North Carolina professor with the most interesting name in the world, who studies the social impact of technology, wrote in a recent New York Times essay. He said that users click through video after video, excited by uncovering more secrets and deeper truths. YouTube leads us down a rabbit hole of extremism, while Google racks up the ad sales. However, ad sales are getting tougher. Or actually, they're getting tougher to qualify for ad sales on YouTube right now. So as it stands, YouTube is going to get tougher on conspiracy theory videos.
I wonder if they're going to go after like the Avril Lavigne one. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Do you know what it is, really?
Yeah, I do.
That she supposedly, she died and the doppelganger took over for her?
Yeah. I've seen that one, actually.
There are some weird thoughts out there, but who am I to judge?
Really are.
All right, what's our next story?
You know what? Let's do this one next. The BCSO has released more mugshots in an animal sacrifice case. 11 people have been charged with animal cruelty after law enforcement received calls from neighbors about an animal sacrifice in a garage. This is a bizarre story about neighbors calling this house the Devil House. On Friday night, Bexar County Sheriff's deputies arrested more than a dozen people at a house on Brown Sand Road in West Bexar County. They're accused of sacrificing animals. It was unbelievable until I heard the animals buying, one neighbor said, about a quiet Friday night that turned into chaos. I drove by them, parked, went into my house for maybe 5 minutes, and when I came out, there was like sheriff cars everywhere. That's the quote. Deputies found 11 people in the garage along with several dead and living animals. It was some sort of ritual going on there, said Sergeant Elizabeth Gonzalez with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. That was apparent to the investigators and deputies. We don't know exactly what that was. Neighbors reportedly saw several people sacrificing animals with knives. Jeez. All 11 people were arrested and charged with cruelty to livestock animals. It kind of looked like a family, a neighbor said. They were kind of like smiling and laughing, sitting in their garage. On Saturday, neighbors said that they believe some people involved have already returned home after seeing cars parked in the driveway. They're more suspicious than ever. Among the 11 people arrested were 55-year-old Roberto Talamentes.
That's actual audio.
Yeah.
Kalima.
64-year-old Irma Talamentes. 29-year-old Cynthia Martinez. 65-year-old Ramon Patino Jr.
Not Ramon Patino Jr.
Yeah.
He could have been something.
He was a great baseball player back in his day.
I don't think so.
65-year-old Marie Murica. 23-year-old Alexander Campos. 24-year-old Ivan Gonzalez. 57-year-old Carmen Gonzalez Trujillo. 40-year-old Luis Rodriguez Ortiz. 39-year-old Ariel Torres Artiga. And 46-year-old Liza Mercado. BCSO also released mugshots for 6 of those arrested, including Cynthia Martinez, Alexander Campos, Ramon Patino, Roberto Talamentes, Irma Talamentes, Marie Marica, Ivan Gonzalez, Carmen Maria Gonzalez Trujillo, Luis Rodriguez Ortiz, Ariel Torres Artiga.
I don't think you need to
Liza
go through all the names
Mercado.
because they are family, Tim.
Yeah.
They've got all their animal slayers in me.
More like the Manson family. Yeah.
All right, where are we off to next?
Well, it came up because it was afraid I was going to read that other story. You know what? I'll save this one for last. That's what I'll do.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because people think it's creepy. I don't think it's creepy at all. Yeah. Well, let's talk about 7 celebrities who claim to have seen aliens, Dave.
Okay.
Is there alien life out there? Well, there's at least alien bacteria. We know that. Some celebs seem to think so. Whether you believe in aliens or not, many believe we're not alone out there. Here are some 7 A-list names, according to these guys. They think they're A-list. Who claim to have witnessed paranormal activity. There's Pee-Pee Girl, Kesha.
What?
Pee-Pee Girl. She drinks her own urine.
Okay.
Yeah. When writing her album Rainbow, Kesha reflected upon an unusual source of inspiration during a recent interview on the Zach Sang radio show, Ask for Him by Name. The pop star shared that the record was influenced by an extraterrestrial experience she had while visiting Joshua Tree National Park in Southern California. She revealed that she saw 5 to 7 crafts flying back and forth, but was too caught up in the moment to think of capturing the event on camera. Robbie Williams sees one every other day. Isn't just a performer and father of 2, Dave, but also adds alien hunter to his resume. Back in 2008, the singer shared during an interview that he had met with aliens on 3 occasions. Evidently, there was a summit. I had no idea. And was considering scouting for extraterrestrials full time. He said he was at the Beverly Hills Hotel and lying on my sun lounger outside at night looking up. He recalled one of the encounters, saying then about 300 feet above me, there was a square thing which just passed over my head silently and then shot off. While another time, Robbie claimed to have witnessed the moment when 2 big massive balls of light started dancing in the sky. They had big balls, Dave. They had big balls.
Great big balls.
Dirty big balls. I don't know. Chris Colfer. Is he really an A-lister?
He's from Glee.
Really?
He was when Glee was popular.
Okay.
I don't know if he's still an A-lister, but go ahead.
He claims to have met an alien as a child during an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. The Glee star spoke about his fascination with alleged aliens and an unidentified flying object sighting and shared his own strong memory of meeting an alien. He said, when I was a kid, I was very sick with bronchitis and I was on Scissorp, Dave. He was on Scissorp. You know what that is, right?
No, I'm not up on my street drugs.
That's the prescription strength cough syrup with the soda. You generally spray it.
Okay.
And it might have been a hallucination, he said.
Well, maybe.
I say no shiz it. Yeah. But I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a little alien standing at the foot of my bed. I think it was Little Wayne, actually. He was about 4 feet tall. I'm surprised I didn't scream, but he was just so adorable. He was just so cute. And he was sitting there like, feel better.
Shut up, dum-dum.
Olivia Newton-John, Dave. claims to have had an experience with the aliens.
What did you expect? She kept asking to get physical. They took her at her word.
Yeah, they were like, physical, let's get anal. Hey!
What?
Huh?
What?
She says she's also interested in paranormal life after seeing an unidentified flying object as a teenager. In an interview with The Sun in 2009, the Grease star claimed to have seen a silver object flying across the sky at amazing speeds near where she lived when she was 15. I saw one when I was very young. It was unidentified and it was flying, she added. In England, most people now think UFOs are possible. 20 years ago, how many people would have thought that? Kim Wilde, Dave. Mm-hmm. The kids are in America, I guess. Kim claims to have seen a UFO in her garden back in 2009. The blonde singer saw a flashing light in the sky as she stood with husband Hal and her female friend, and the incident has gone on to inspire her latest album, Here Comes the Aliens. Be sure to ask for it by name. Kim also believes aliens live among us and are in despair over the state of the planet and how we are treating each other. Russell Crowe has had an experience. Yep. Gladiator. He's downright happy. He also had claimed to have seen a UFO. The Gladiator star posted a video on YouTube in 2011 in which he alleged showed an extraterrestrial object. Great writing. Passing by his office in Sydney, Australia. UFO time-lapse photos outside RC's. Oh, I can't pronounce that, Dave. Woolloomooloo?
Oh, yeah.
Office?
Woolloomooloo. Yep, sure.
Okay. These are real, it says. He captioned a 23-second video, which showed a bright light moving over the horizon. Lupe Fiasco, Dave. I don't know if you're familiar with Lupe Fiasco.
No.
Little kick, push, coast action.
Pardon me?
That's the song. He claimed he had an extraworldly experience at the age of 11, which left him with a scar on his ankle. Back in 2012, the Chicago-raised rapper asserted during an interview with Power 106 FM in Los Angeles that he was resting in bed in the early morning when he was awoke by a bright light and a feeling of being surrounded by electricity. It stops, and I look out the window, and I see a black disc flying down in front of the window, sits there, and then flies out, he claims. I had got like a scar on the bottom of my ankle. I don't know where it came from. I never had surgery there. I don't remember falling there either.
Dun, dun, dun.
And there you go. Those are your A-list celebrities.
Those are the A-list celebrities. Not in our country, but they're A-list celebrities.
Somewhere. To somebody.
All right.
And finally, Alexa, Dave. Alexa's been creeping the hell out of people.
How so?
Alexa laughs. That's the laugh.
That's it?
That's it. I don't think it's creepy.
Well, give me the rest of the story. What's the problem?
Alexa just laughs out of nowhere, Dave. Just you're sitting there, you're rocking back and forth over the cat's tail, whatever you're doing. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Alexa bursts out laughing. For weeks, users of Amazon's digital assistant, Alexa, have reported versions of the same unsettling event, being startled as they went about their day, hearing that by Alexa, letting out that eerie laugh like that. Now, Amazon says it knows why it's been happening and is working to fix the problem. In rare circumstances, Alexa evidently is getting her butt tickled. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, a little anal Alexa tickling, I guess. In rare circumstances, Alexa can mistakenly hear the phrase Alexa laugh when other words are spoken. Amazon said in an emailed statement, we are changing the phrase to be Alexa, can you laugh?
Alexa, can you hear me?
Which is less likely to have false positives.
This is baloney because some people were just laying in bed sleeping when this thing.
Yeah. And we are disabling the short utterance Alexa laugh. The company also said that instead of simply laughing when asked, the digital assistant, which is accessible through its line of Echo and Fire devices, will first acknowledge the request, saying, sure, I can laugh. One user said on Twitter that he... Well, that's not Alexa, that's Dave. One user said on Twitter that he was talking to his sister when he heard his device laugh. He had stopped the conversation and began searching online for an explanation of what just occurred. Finding nothing, he asked Alexa to repeat the last sound that she had made. Another Twitter user reported being startled by Alexa's laugh, at first thinking there was a child in the room. The episode underscored the concerns swirling around Echo and other smart speakers like Google Home which often sit in intimate spaces, not that intimate, waiting for a call to action, if you know what I mean. Critics have argued that the always-on devices pose a threat to privacy and security. There have been reports of children ordering items through the devices without parental consent. And last year, Burger King took advantage of the devices by incorporating a command into a commercial. Despite those concerns, the technology has been widely embraced. Reports vary on just how many Americans use such devices, but all suggest that adoption is relatively high. Oh, you can have your kids adopted out through it, Dave. Just get one and say, Alexa, have my kids adopted.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
On Tuesday, for example, the polling organization Gallup at Northeastern University reported that 1 in 5 American adults use an intelligent home device such as Alexa, Google Home, or other competing devices. Amazon sold tens of millions of Alexa devices during the recent holiday season, with analysts saying that the Echo accounts for more than 70% of smart speaker sales.
I'm referring now.
You know, we ought to come up with the Dave.
What?
No, the Dave.
Oh.
Yeah, a smart device called the Dave.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know. What do we need it for? There's already the creepy Echo.
Well, there's, you got Alexa.
All right. Do we have any other stories before we go to Parashare?
No.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow, that was unceremoniously unfruitful. All right. Well, that's it for Supernatural News. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We've got your stories featured next, right here on Beyond the Darkness.
Beyond the Darkness.
Welcome back to the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness. Shall we join in with some emails here, Tim?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start off with this one. It is dated Saturday, March 17th, 2018.
Well, that's pretty.
Dear Dave. That's how it starts off again. Dear
really?
Dave.
Dear Dave.
But hold on.
Okay.
First off, I want to tell you and Tim how absolutely I'm impressed with you both. Butt kiss, butt kiss, butt kiss. We love that part. The integrity you both exhibit weekly are true examples of what it is to be men. I feel like this is kind of mocking. I'm not sure.
No?
You're both equally hardworking and gifted intellectually, but as well as you know how to roll. I mean, you laugh a lot. You enjoy what others offer. You do more for uniting people than you may realize. Well, that's nice. I wish you guys were nationwide. They're on their side.
They are, really.
You are, kinda, when you do Coast to Coast AM, but even there, I can assume no one I know, workplace and family, know what Coast to Coast is, and certainly not Beyond the Darkness. It's very frustrating for me. I discovered Coast to Coast years ago via my Aunt Pauline. She passed away 2 years ago at the age of 96. She would tell me the incredible things she would hear on Coast to Coast with Art Bell. Anyway, this devoted listener to Beyond the Darkness and Coast to Coast, especially when you host, would love to contribute to you some thoughts and experiences. I don't want to bombard you continually, so I'll just do it all in one email. Get her done. Just like pulling off a Band-Aid, it says, Tim.
Yes.
I know you love stories about animals. I have a few I can tell you about. When I lived in California, I had 2 cats, Larry and Mickey. My boyfriend and I moved to Los Angeles in 1984 to include my cat, Larry. We both loved the Stooges. So in choosing his name, we decided the kitten would come to the name he liked. We called Mo. Nothing. We called Curly. Nothing. We called Larry, and the kitten jumped up and came to us. He picked his own name, Larry. All this aside, we'd lived there for a couple of years when Larry, he was a really stupid cat, escaped our apartment. He was missing a good 3 weeks. During that time, I found a lovely black female cat down in a ditch alongside the 405 freeway during one of my many, many trips hunting for Larry. She'd been hit by a car, rolled down into the culvert. Serious problems. Took her to the emergency vet, broken back end. We cared for her. She could not pee on her own, damaged back end, could not move her tail. And then Larry was finally found. 2 cats laying claim to our apartment as their home. Larry was always an asshole. He did not want to like this new cat. On the other hand, Mickey was a beautiful, sleek, totally black cat, so full of life and humor. She pestered Larry constantly. Soon, he fell head over heels in love with Mickey, both neutered, by the way. It was so funny for us seeing this curmudgeon of a guy in love for the first time. These two were always together, eating, sleeping, playing, licking each other, totally. Well, Mickey died after 3 years. She had gotten a bladder infection, most likely. I had to express her bladder for her as her back end of her body never worked after getting hit on the 405. Her tail never worked again, and she could not pee on her own, only moved her bowels. She could walk, but not pee. Something was seriously damaged. Anyway, she got blood poisoning and passed away. I placed her body in my laundry basket, preparing to take her to the vet who would do an autopsy on her. She is a person to me, so it was an autopsy, not a necropsy. I showed Larry her body in the laundry basket. He wanted no part of it. Scrabbled out of my arms to get away from Mickey's body. He knew it was her dead body. So sad. I was trying to explain to him what had happened. You understand. Anyway, 2 weeks after Mickey passed, I had a very unreal evening. And I recall it very clearly. All right, let's see where this takes us. He says, it was Saturday evening, late. I was watching TV, and Larry was on the floor sleeping to my right of the TV, about 5 feet from me. Suddenly, he woke. He looked around a bit and settled his gaze on the sofa, got on his haunches, and just started looking. After a few minutes, his gaze moved. His head moved to the left, then to the right, then to the right, then to the left. I knew immediately he was tracking. Was that Mickey? Dave, I am a little bit psychic, but not that psychic. I felt nothing, saw nor heard a thing. Without Larry, I would not have known Mickey's ghost was even there. As God is my witness, this kept up for over an hour. This was a very long event. Larry sat on the spot near the TV and watched Mickey walking over the back of the sofa. I'm sure when she concluded her visit, Larry suddenly stopped paying attention, sat back down, then curled up into sleep. I swear this lasted almost 2 hours. This was on a Saturday night, and I lived alone at the time. When she finally left, I knew it because Larry calmed down and went back to sleeping. I knew she was gone. It was well over an hour. I want to say it was about 2 hours, Dave. It was a very long visit. During this visit from Mickey, I picked up Larry and tried to bring him close to the sofa. He fought me every inch of the way, exactly as he had done when I tried to hold him near the laundry basket holding Mickey's body. Larry was frightened. He did not understand the dead body. He did not understand the soul out of the body. Dave, I will always remember this experience. This is an honest story and something I actually lived. It was approximately 1986, and I lived alone at the time. My next story, this didn't happen to me, but to my Aunt Pauline. She passed away 2 years ago at the age of 96. Anyway, she had this cat named Tiger. He died at age 18. Tiger was very emotional and very intelligent. He was also a very gentle and sweet little being. My Aunt Pauline loved him totally. She once told me he would talk to her. He was a very smart, gentle, evocative cat. He died at age 18 as he was suffering so, and they euthanized him. I believe animals have just as much access to heaven as humans do. I've taken in cats who were feral. I believe that having lived with me, the souls are more advanced as animals. I mean, they've learned more. My ferals are now gone as well, but I believe their upcoming lives will be more advanced. I had one cat, Gracie, I could never even touch. I am certain, however, I have prepped her for a better and more knowledgeable future life. My aunt loved Tiger very much and missed him, but was dealing with it okay. Then around 2 years later, she began missing him so much. I mean, she was thinking about him a lot and really just missed him so much. She was just feeling so bad missing him. They'd rescued another cat they called Howie. Howie was a large male cat, orange and white, and they'd had Howie for about a year. This one particular morning, my Aunt Pauline, as she explained to me, had gotten up and let Howie out. She returned to bed and went back to sleep. They lived in the country, New Hartford, Connecticut, so it was nothing to let the cat out at 5 a.m., and being tired, she'd go back to bed. Well, this one particular morning, it was still dark out, and she awakened to a cat having jumped on her bed near her feet. She woke, and this cat walked up alongside her legs. She knew it wasn't Howie as she just let him out. She looked up, and to her surprise, it was Tiger. She was awake. She told this story so many times, and she confirms she was not sleeping. She was totally awake. Tiger walked along her side, came right up to her. She was aware this was a paranormal event because, as she told me, she was afraid to touch him as he might disappear. Finally, and this is the most chilling part, as Tiger was laying down along my aunt's side gazing at her, he then gave a sharp look up toward the wall behind her bedpost. It was as if someone was calling him. Tiger stood up and started walking past my aunt. She explained to me that as he walked, he started to break apart and then just disappear. Dave, when our animals die, they go to heaven too. People on the other side care for them as we do. I think my aunt had begun to grieve for Tiger so hard that someone on the other side knew and felt that my Auntie P needed to see Tiger was all right. My Auntie Pauline was granted a very short visit. Dave, I have to assure you that my Auntie P was much relieved of sadness after the spiritual event. This event from Tiger. Much thanks to Tiger's handlers in his new spiritual home. That's very cool. All right, let's go on to our next story, if you don't mind, Mr. Dennis.
Sure.
Mabuhay, Dave and Tim. Mabuhay?
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay. Mabuhay.
Okay.
Dave and Tim. My
Hi.
friends call me Az, and so can you. I'm writing from the wonderful country of the Philippines.
Oh.
I've been a fan ever since you guys were guests at the Talk is Jericho podcast. I checked out your stuff and I was immediately hooked. I've always wanted to write something for Parashare, but I haven't really recalled anything worth mentioning. Most of the stuff I knew were secondhand stories, such as lights randomly turning on in our old residence, my mom's car acting weird, and following my grandfather's burial, smells of a lit candle filling a factory warehouse where my parents used to work, and some oddities I personally experienced could be easily dismissed as the wind or creaky hinges, doors, and my closets suddenly opening. It's not that I'm a skeptic about these things. It's just that I don't really believe everything I hear instantly. I'm sure you can relate to that. However, while listening to one of the Parashares one night, something really bothered me. It was that episode where you guys were reading about some personal dream visitations that some listeners had experienced. It dug up and resonated with something in my memory in a way I've never thought of before. This story is not a dream visitation, but rather something I realized while listening to your program. During my first year in college, I had won a regional essay writing competition that impressed a lot of other college branches, to the point I'd been personally approached to switch branches, which I respectfully declined because the college I went to was much closer. This meant that I had to defend the title the following year, but unfortunately, I was struck with a very strong fever. Before I felt sickly that night, I can recall helping my uncle deal with a snake that managed to slither inside the house. I wondered if I was bitten, but I don't recall ever getting near the snake. I was just a lookout, someone who just watched the possible escape routes the snake would take if it slipped away from my uncle's snake-catching equipment. I was overcome with a feeling of dread while I was laying in bed, not being able to sleep properly and sweating profusely. I felt sick. While that was happening, I felt like I was being whispered to over and over. It wasn't like I could hear it in my ear, but rather like it was directly speaking in my head. You deserve this. You deserve all of this, it said, like I was being cursed by someone enjoying my misery. The following morning, I couldn't go to school because I had a pretty high fever and I couldn't eat much, and I would throw up whatever I tried to eat, not even solid food. My aunt and uncle were worried, who I was living with while my mom was in Australia, as they let me sleep in their room so they could watch over me throughout the night. It was during the night that I slept in their room that I felt more weird things happen. It felt like a dream, but it also felt a bit real. I was talking to a young boy, probably around 12 years old. He was dressed in white, if memory serves correctly. I apparently spent the entire night talking to him. I didn't find it strange while I was talking with him, but I also don't recognize him. It was a very uneventful scene, but I could have sworn it felt so real. I don't even remember what we talked about, but in the back of my mind during all of that, I could actually realizing that this kid's a ghost. I woke up the next morning remembering that dream or whatever it was, and it was all so vivid to the point I was doubting my own sanity. I could feel as if combined with the cursing from the previous night that I was starting to lose my mind. I haven't taken any strong medication and I'm already hallucinating. This might be worse than I thought, I mused. I didn't process any of it really because I was still super sick at that time. And yet I tried hard to feel better so I could go to the enter the competition. I was being called by my professor and coach and asking if I could come in time for the competition. I tried really hard to convince my aunt to let me compete, but only after we consulted a doctor regarding my laboratory results. The doctor immediately advised against me competing and had me rushed to a hospital. It was there that I met the lead doctor, Dr. Galvez. He inspected my laboratory results and looked at me seriously. Your blood platelet count is at 5. Any lower, and we wouldn't be having this conversation, he said. I was shocked. From what he's trying to imply, I probably would be in a coma or maybe even dead if I didn't get rushed there for another day. The sickness was brought on by dengue, mosquito bites. I was given more outside trying to kill us, Tim. I was given a room and attended to by medical personnel to recover. It was at that hospital room that I experienced the last of the strange hallucinations throughout that fiasco. While I was sleeping, I dreamed that there were a lot of spirits gathered around, floating above my bed. I yelled at them, telling them to get out. Party's over. I'm not coming with you. And one by one, they disappeared. I made a recovery the following day, slowly returning to health, and my visions and hallucinations ended. I didn't think much of this for many years. I've already graduated from college. I dismissed it as me losing my mind from the fever for the most part, but listening to your Parashare that night sparked a strange idea in my head. Was I actually seeing glimpses of the afterlife as I was hanging on by a thread? Thanks for reading. I know it's not very creepy, but it disturbed me personally. There was a possibility that I may have been teetering between life and death at the time, unknowingly inching closer and closer to the Reaper. I hope you guys continue delivering interesting shows for everyone like me who really enjoys the paranormal stuff. More blessings and good health for you and your family, Dave and Tim. With regards, Az from the Philippines. Thanks, Az. We appreciate it. The Philippines checking in with us, Tim. How about that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Hey, Dave. Apparently, I never sent this email, and it's been sitting in my drafts folder since January of 2017.
Uh-oh.
I'm such an airhead. I just found it today, so I decided to send it to you. Keep in mind, it's referring to an episode from the old podcast. Thanks for being awesome. That comes from Carmen. Now, the official email begins this way, Tim, and I think you'll like this one a little bit better. Okay. Hi, Dave and Tim.
Hi.
My husband is a police officer and started listening to your show when he worked nights in 2006. I, however, didn't start listening until about 3 years ago, and now I'm hooked. My 40-minute drive to work would not be complete without listening to an episode of your show. Thank you for keeping me entertained and engaging my long commute. We had an experience this morning that I want to share with you. It relates to the show that you did this past Wednesday with Trish and Rob McGregor, which again was about a year ago. Mm-hmm. Let me start by saying I am more interested in some of your topics than others. I prefer ghosts to Bigfoot, aliens, or psychics. So I wasn't super excited about their topic when I got into my car Thursday morning and turned on your show. I was pleasantly surprised to find how fascinated I was by what they shared. I myself have never experienced a precognitive dream, but I have always seen things when looking back at them in retrospect. I can see how they led up to certain events in my life. Today, however, was totally different. My husband always wakes up at 4:20 a.m. to get ready for work. Ooh, no thanks. 4:20 in the a.m. Is that even a thing?
That's ironic that a cop is waking up at 4:20. Just saying.
It's a chronic problem, Tim.
It is, yeah.
This morning, he awakened at 4:16 from a dream he was having. It upset him so much that he was crying and shaken. Not typical behavior for this big tough guy. He kissed me repeatedly goodbye before he left. When I woke up at 5:30, I texted him to ask what his dream was about. He wouldn't tell me via text, so I called him on my way to work. He told me that in his dream I had some kind of illness or possibly a stroke, but for whatever reason I was in a comatose state. My body was there, but my spirit was gone, and he was just waiting for me to die. I remember Wednesday's show and was worried that this might be a precognitive dream, so I drove extra carefully. My sister and I are teachers and carpool to work. When we were driving on the freeway chatting about our students and how glad we were that it was Friday, my husband called. He told me that his friend Ken's wife, Timmy, was in a coma at the hospital and that the doctors were deciding when to remove her from life support. Apparently, she got a really bad headache yesterday. She stood up to get some pain meds and felt like she was going to vomit, so she went to the bathroom where she collapsed. So Ken called 911. Turns out she had an aneurysm and her brain bled so much that it collapsed onto her brainstem.
Ooh.
There was nothing the doctors could do for her. Like me, Timmy was a teacher. She taught special education at her local high school and just retired last year. She was a wonderful, kind, compassionate human being. Ken recently retired from the police force. Timmy is Ken's whole world. They had big plans for their retirement years, but now those plans are just dreams that will never come true. I don't know what Ken will do without Timmy. The events in my dream, my husband were just too close to what happened with our friends to dismiss. I can't explain it. He's always experienced more signs and weird things than I have, so I've wondered if this is a skill that he can hone with some effort. He always said that his grandmother and great-grandmother were more than a bit psychic, and after listening to last night's guest, Kitty Jost Janis, which is again a year ago, I think it may be possible. As always, hug your loved ones a little bit tighter and be sure to let them know how you feel. Never take life for granted and be grateful for everything you have. Be kind to others and don't sweat the small stuff. Thanks for letting me share my story. Love you guys. Carmen in Somerset, California. Well, you know what it very well could be, Carmen, is maybe it's not so much a precognitive dream, but maybe in an alternate timeline and an alternate reality, it was his wife that went down, not his buddies. Yes. So there is that possibility. And, you know, we were talking about haunted hospitals. I'm going to be on that show. I'm going in April to film in Toronto, actually, my own story at a haunted hospital. And if you've had a haunted hospital story, you can email them to me at dave@darknessradio.com. I will forward them to the production company. They're looking for about 8 more really good stories, whether you're an ex-employee or a patient, a security guard, janitor, doctor, nurse, anesthesiologist, the crazy cafeteria worker. If you're one of those people and you had a paranormal experience at a hospital, hospice, things like that, they want to hear from you. So you can email me, dave@darknessradio.com, and I'll forward those stories over. Hi there, guys. Love your work. Listening to you now on Coast to Coast. You're taking a journey into the world of haunted hospitals. I've been a nurse for 20 years and have had some experiences. One place comes to mind right away, the grounds of Northern State Mental Hospital in Washington State. I worked there as a nurse at the facility called North Sound, a psychiatric detainment facility just outside Canada in the mountains of Cedro Woolley, Washington. The facility rests on the grounds of Northern State Mental Hospital there in Washington, as well as Job Corps. The TAPS guys have been there, and I think there are haunted tours and such. This land, the hospital, and the facility were beyond creepy. You welcome the sunrise working nights out there. You never wanted to go anywhere alone, though some of the staff would grab NVGs and walk around the grounds during their break. Having grown up in a haunted house, I was not so brave as to go out in the night alone there. We had a lot of shadow people, a lot of images on camera, and nothing at the door or vice versa. There were cold spots and sounds from empty parts of the facilities, whispers, doors opening, screaming outside. But was that an entity or a mountain lion? At Northern State, a friend took his camera into the tunnels one night and ended up in a room with a gurney. He took a picture and caught an image of a body bag, tons of orbs. It's a great place to investigate or add to a list of haunted hospitals. The psychiatric detainment facility was new for the area, but whatever was on the land definitely made its way over to us. Plus, the patients we had were so ill and perhaps brought things in with them. One staffer saw something clinging to a patient who was having what looked like a psychotic break, though the tech said he was possessed. Life is never dull in healthcare. That was a magical place to work. Thanks for reading my little share, and thank you for what you do. Without your work, life would be a bit dull, and so many people would be without their voice. Take care, and that's from Patricia, the RN. Thank you, Patricia, the RN. We appreciate you sharing your stories. And remember, if you have your own stories to share, you can email them to me. We'll share them on the show, and we'll also pass them on to the production company. And you know what? I know you're thinking. Some of these stories, Tim, they're just too hard to swallow. All right, a couple more stories, Tim?
Yeah.
Hey, Dave and Tim, I wanted to write you and tell you about a weird and eerie experience I had when I was around 12. I grew up in Clarksville, Tennessee, in a neighborhood that was known for unexplainable things. Well, a bunch of my friends and I were hanging out in the middle of the night, wrestling on the trampoline, like kids do. Mm-hmm. I remember getting bounced really high and running my body to look at the road just in time to see a hearse drive under a streetlight and completely vanish. As I came down, my knees buckled. I was stunned. I'd asked if anyone else had seen what I did. Everyone looked at me like I was crazy. It wasn't foggy or anything. To this day, I can't figure out what I saw. Was it a ghost car or what? I have many stories like this. Thank you guys for what you do. Keep up the great work. And that comes from Mitch. Well, thank you, Mitch. We appreciate that short story.
You know who it was, Mitch?
What?
You take one too many hard hits on the trampoline, you're going to end up dead. That was your premonition.
Probably. Hey, Dave and Tim, in the early 1980s, I practiced as a critical care nurse at the Ohio State University Medical Center and experienced a life-altering situation. I was a member of the constant care nurses who took care of critically ill patients in patient rooms on the floor. My shift was 3 p.m. to 7 a.m. My patient was comatose man with liver failure of unknown origin who had not responded to any treatment. After getting his large family to leave the room, I remained in the room with his wife throughout the night. He was essentially comatose, and his wife was extremely distressed. His vital signs were fairly normal all night. At some point during the night, he began talking, though not to us. Jack started telling us about the bright light he saw. We woke him up. He was quiet. This happened repeatedly through the night, with his journey progressing to the light. I called the resident doctor because I was getting worried that Jack would die once he got to the light. There was nothing the doctor could do. Before the end of my shift, Jack reached the light and told us it was a beautiful scene with those he loved, flowers and pure happiness. When he started telling us about seeing his feet, his wife screamed and aroused him again to a state of quiet. He never spoke again during my shift. I do not recall ever having him as a patient again, but heard that he had coded and was resuscitated, but later died. I saw him once in the hall being transported somewhere. His wife died last year. Documented premonitions about when she would have cardiac arrests. She told nurses that she could tell when death was nearby. Apparently, the night I took care of Jack, she told the staff that death was nearby, but not for her. I learned from this, from the nursing staff on the unit, since I wanted to tell them about what happened with Jack until I was told about the research patient. I was unaware of her case. Jack's experience has given me so much comfort through the years, and that comes from Amy Sue. Well, thank you, Amy, and we did share your hospital story with the producers as well. So thanks for sharing that. And let's see, we've got time for one last story, Tim.
Okay.
Hi, Dave and Tim. Great show. I'll start. When I was 30, I had a serious heart failure. Medical staff were top-notch and able to bring my failing heart and body back to life. That's pretty much when it started for me, seeing and hearing and feeling things we do not see with our naked eye. 4 years have passed among many experiences. I was 34 and nothing better to do. My heart decided to go out of rhythm one night. So the next morning I drove to the Credit Valley Hospital in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and was admitted with arrhythmia and spent 3 days in ICU. Once my heart was back in rhythm, I got my own room and off the monitor. So now I'm sitting in my own room and was talking to my mom on the phone, letting her know I was fine and such. My travel luggage consisted of a Food Basics grocery bag, and I had that on my bed, and I had some clothes and some food items in there. The bag was upright. I mean, the sides were upright. It wasn't crumpled closed. All of a sudden, the sides got pushed down and open more, and I'm watching nothing rummaging through my stuff. I said to my mom, hold on, Mom. Someone's in my room going through my stuff. She's like, oh, are the nurses taking anything away that's bad? I said, no, this person is invisible. After all the things I'd experienced up to that day after the first heart issue, it didn't scare me because I've witnessed weirder things. I just say, hey, this is my room now, and those are my belongings, so you're going to have to get out of my bag and out of my room. Sure enough, the bag stopped moving, and that was that. I figured it was just a person who had passed in that ward and was just curious. Thank you. That comes from Joe Stonehouse. Joe, thank you very much. We did share your story with the production company as well. Well, that's it for this week, Tim. We're done with Parashare Supernatural News. We do have a Throwback Tuesday episode coming for you tomorrow and Thursday this week, another classic episode, but we'll be back live Wednesday with another brand new show and Friday with another show and Theater of the Mind. It's time to say goodbye. For Tim Dennis, I'm Dave Schrader. You've been listening to Beyond the Darkness.